All right, with the time that we've got left, we're going to spend some time talking about object-oriented programming, which is basically why are we using classes? Why aren't we just like writing one big program with a bunch of functions in it? We're going to talk about some of the advantages and some of the reasons that we see this in Java and some other programming languages. So there's four big ideas. There's encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Okay, and all these play a part explaining why that we care about these classes. So encapsulation is what it sounds like. It's kind of like those pills where everything is like inside. So the first thing it does is it makes it simple for us because we have all of these little things and it's kind of hard to keep track of, but we encapsulate it. It's all in one place. Um, so all of these behaviors, um, all of these attributes are stored inside this object. Okay, so that makes it simpler, but it also makes it safer. Kind of like a drug that we don't really want people manipulating inside. Um, it's a lot safer to keep everything encapsulated and say no touchy. Okay, you can't touch this, which is um, why we make these variables private. It's why a lot of times we don't even allow setters in a lot of classes because we just don't want people messing with stuff and we don't want people to have access. So that's encapsulation. Inheritance is something that we haven't dealt with. This will make a little more sense when we get into subclasses, but um, instead of starting completely from scratch on something, a lot of times it makes sense to extend a functionality of one class to another class. A child class inherits all the attributes from a parent class. Okay, a subclass gets all of these attributes and behaviors from the parent class. Where this is nice is you can use all your old code that interacted with that class um, while still adding on new functionality. So because of this inheritance, we get this backwards compatibility that's really nice for maintaining old code. All right, polymorphism is when one thing can be interpreted in different ways, depending on how it's used. Uh, some uh, some programming languages, you can even have your operators mean different things depending on uh, what's going on. We're not able to adjust that in Java. What we are able to do is overload a method so that this one command does different things depending on the context. So this is the prime example that people use. It's saying, hey, speak. Okay, and any animal we can command to speak. Just one command. But that one command is interpreted differently by the dog, the cat, and the duck. So depending on the type of object that you're dealing with, this one command is able to have multiple meanings. That's polymorphism. Okay, and it simplifies things a lot because instead of having a command quack, a command woof, a command meow, we have one command and it makes things a lot easier. The last one is abstraction, and I'm covering this up a little bit. Um, Abstraction is where we kind of hide all of the bells and whistles and we just say, hey, just push this button right here. Don't worry about what's happening behind the curtain. Just push this one button. This is all you need. Stop worrying about all this other stuff. We kind of hide a lot of the implementation um, away so that you can really just focus on what you need for that task. Um, so the way that we accomplish that is with with interfaces and abstract classes, which those do is they basically say, here's what you need to make an animal, or here is what you need to make a Pokemon. And all of the other details, we're going to hide those in other places where you don't really have to deal with that. Just focus on the fact that these are the things that you need to get the job done. And those are going to live in abstract classes and interfaces. So that is just a short rundown of the four big concepts in object-oriented programming.